Hello, Gilberts. Welcome to my live call in my home. And it comes with a question tonight. Does timing determine your success? And for those of you that do not know me, I've been involved in network marketing for 41 years. I share a lot of what I've learned in my journey on these live calls. I started in this business 28 years ago, broke, bankrupt, sold a junk truck to get started, put $200 into my business to get started, and I've been full-time ever since. I love it. They say network marketing doesn't work. They're lying. It works for those who work. Like anything, right? And I'm going to acknowledge some fantastic people that are going to join us. Like Nico, what is going on? Good to see you. How are you doing? Micah, how you doing, son? Good to see you. Maybe you've been in the gym today. Hey Charlene, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling better and doing better. And let's see, hey John in Baltimore, nice to see you. Good to see you, my friend. I hope all is well. Hope your home improvements are coming along fine. I know it's a process, that's for sure. And then Markian, good to see you, man. Good to see you as well. Yeah, when I started, when we first bought this house, 13 years ago, time flies. I spent 1 year just remodeling the inside. Hey, Alenia. The first year just doing a remodel on the inside, and then when we got the whole thing completed, then I thought, okay, we need more room, and then boom, this place, right? So we added. Hey, Gary, good to see you. How are you doing, my friend in Manila, Philippines? I hope all is well. I hear you're in another lockdown. Is that right? Man, not good. Anyway, so then we, added on this, and the joke of it was, I told the contractor, I said, well, I just want to add a room to put a pool table, and it ended up being a 6,500 square foot addition. So, anyway. Miss Lee in South Korea, good to see you. Annyeonghaseyo. Good to see you, Miss Lee. And George in New York City, good to see you. Oh, Gary says total lockdown there. Oh, man. That's too bad. I hope it doesn't last too long, Gary. And that's not easy when you're in a city of Manila, like 20 million people, and you got all these high rises, and it's not like me. We can just walk out our door and go for a walk right in the mountains here. And Nico said, yeah, that's right. That's what we do. When the whole COVID thing hit, it wasn't an adjustment for me because I've been working from home for the last 28 years. So I was like, this won't be an adjustment for me. But Marissa, how are you? Good to see you. Hola, ¿cómo está? So tonight, I was going to share my thoughts on the question of timing. Does that determine your success in network marketing? And many people believe that. And when people look at those who've made it, when I say made it, I mean they've done very well. Perhaps they're a seven-figure earner. They're financially independent. Made it. We'll just use that for the definition, okay? That they just got lucky. That they just got lucky and that they got in at the right time. I have not investigated all companies and their history of their leaders. If we go back to even Amway or Herbalife or Nu Skin, the three big ones, right? I've not investigated those leaders and their history, but if I was to do that, I'm sure I would come up with common denominators that I've seen in my own experience with other companies. And that is that most of the people that did do very well were simply people that applied the skill set. But before I get into that, let's talk about this whole thing about timing and does it determine your success. Right up front, I want to say that when there is a product that has strong market appeal, CBD oil is a perfect example. CBD. I mean, everywhere you go, it's everywhere, right? You can find it in Dollar General, you can find it in Walmart, you can find it anywhere, right? But prior to it, when nobody knew anything about CBD, right? When it hit, it had strong market appeal. So what we saw just a rocket of growth with a few companies who jumped in it on the bandwagon with that, and they had tremendous fast growth. And those leaders, no question about it. The people that got in, now when I say got in, it's not like the stock market. We need to get real on this. Okay, it's not like buying stock or getting in on Bitcoin when it was, $1 a coin, right? It doesn't work that way. In network marketing, it's not so much an investment of money as it is in time and also doing the work, showing up. So we have to understand that it is very different, because there's not a company, not a network marketing company out there where you can get wealthy on one leg, on one team. Those compensation plans do not exist, nor can they pay everybody to infinity, right? I mean, think about it. For every dollar going in, I mean, if you paid 100 levels out, after that you're broke, right? So, and then the company's not making anything anyway. But I'm just saying that, you have to sponsor multiple legs, which means you have to go out and do what? You have to search, you have to scout, you have to headhunt, you have to find people who like what you have, and then as a result, they're going to jump in and they're going to work it with you, right? So all that is very intentional. That is not based on chance or luck. Now, granted that sometimes you can sponsor someone who's not that committed, who sponsors another person not that committed, who sponsors another person not that committed, and then that person sponsors someone who says, gee whiz, man, I love this, and they take off with it. And then you have a lot of volume coming out from that leader somewhere down below. Okay, those things do happen. They do happen. But still, even at that, you're one-legged. If you ever want to get paid on that volume, you're going to have to hustle. And you'll probably never find another one like that one, nor do you need to. All you have to do is just find somebody who, meet those qualifications in your compensation plan, and boom, you're ranked. When you're ranked, that means you get paid in depth and you get whatever they're going to pay you. So all that is intentional. That's not like the stock market where you got in early. You got in early on Apple, for example. Or Bitcoin, you got in when it was just $1 a coin, and then boom, it just, you made all that money. I mean, but but there is some principles there that we can also learn from it. That just because something's been out there for a while, like a network marketing company, does that mean that it doesn't have appreciating value? I say it does have appreciating value, and I say that most of the people that are going to make money in network marketing, and I'm talking about people who become 6 and 7 figure earners, those people had a skill set. They had a work ethic. They didn't come in with the investment mentality that get in early, let's see where it goes. I can tell you from personal experience, because I was in 10 companies before my last one that I joined 22 years ago, and most of those companies did not last very long. I was a top earner in companies that no longer exist. I was a top pin in companies that no longer exist. What good is it? And had some great people in those companies, but the owners had no business starting a company, running a company. And there we have to pay attention to that reality, because the majority of the businesses that do launch, only about 4% that do launch will be around in 10 years. And that doesn't even suggest how well they're going to be doing. So keep in mind, network marketing companies that launch, somebody launches a company, chances are that business being around in 10 years from now is slim to none. Yeah, that applies to network marketing. We always say that, we always talk about traditional business. Well, okay, but that is a business. And it's all dependent on the promoters in that company, whether they're going to stick and stay. Or if they're like grasshoppers, they're going to hop and be gone, then those kind of companies will collapse. But I can tell you that my first 10 companies, the owner did not have, and sometimes there are multiple owners, they did not have the experience in running a company. So getting in on the ground floor is only good if it gets off the ground. That is a reality. That's a reality fact check. Only if it gets off the ground is a ground floor opportunity worth it. So since most of them are not going to stick and stay, and we can think of just, hey, how many of you ever remember a company called Monavie? Remember how it went up like a rocket, man? I mean, ballistic growth. I mean, they had tens of thousands of people showing up at their events, and they were rewarding the leaders on stage. They would even bring in a Brinks truck and bring in, like security, armed security, and they're bringing out the money, right? They even had the cars out there. I mean, Ferraris and everything. Oh my gosh. You talk about put on a show, they put on a show. Where is that company today? It doesn't exist. Or if we think about Mirinda, it doesn't exist. Or Vima, where is that? Doesn't exist. They're gone. Zango, another one, doesn't exist anymore. So that's what we have to understand, is that these companies only had a short run and they were gone. And the same thing with some of these CBD oil companies too. You're going to see the same thing, because here's ballistic growth with a product like that, but how quickly it became a commodity. And you can find it in Dollar General store. You can find it in Walmart. You can, and of course, and if you're in a CBD oil, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying it's challenging only in the sense that now you have to argue that yours is better. Your product is a better CBD oil, and it might be, or your compensation plan is better, and it might be. But now you got to divert a lot of time and energy with a strategy to defeat a lot of the others that are trying to claim the same territory. And that's the thing. And what happens is, when you have ballistic growth like that and it plateaus, then people in the plateau will think, oh wow, it's not growing like it did. I thought it was growing so well because I'm so great, or I'm such a great leader, so motivator with my team and all that, but now we're not growing. So and then they're looking for what? The next shiny object. And then as soon as a shiny object comes around, they look, oh, there is the shiny object. And then they jump and they go after that, because they say that shiny object is a ground floor opportunity. It just got started. That's the thing. See, at the end of the day, it's not about chasing shiny objects. It's not about finding ground floor opportunities. It's about sticking and staying and developing a skill set to master in this business. And if you can do that, it's like tools. It's like tools in a toolbox. If you're a carpenter and you're a skilled builder, carpenter, you can take those skills, you can take your tools, go anywhere you want, and you can build. And that's the key. And that's what you have to master. Having said that, I mean, I can go back to when I was in a company in March of 1993, and there were already 300,000 people ahead of me in that company. So, again, somebody might say my timing's off. They already got 300,000, man, and you're just joining? Well, guess what? It didn't take me too many years and I was in the top 10 in that company. Yes. So the thing is, anybody could have been in the top 10. Anybody could have done it. Why didn't they do it? Right. Why didn't they? Maybe they're looking for the shiny object. I don't know. But all I saw was they have a great product. They have a great compensation plan. The market is there. I'm going to run with this. And that's what I did. And just like CBD too, you know, it had ballistic growth. And then finally we plateaued. And actually I didn't leave because of the plateau. The company was sold. New owners came in. And then they doubled the requirements in our compensation plan, which really killed everybody's check. So I knew I had to move on. Again, I wasn't looking for a ground floor opportunity because actually I had become so shell-shocked with startup companies. And so I understood that it was a matter of just finding a good company, putting in the work, and then staying there. And that's the thing that I want you to understand. Stay there. If you're in a CBD oil company and they're rewarding you well, and that's the whole thing. When you plateau, how companies come out of plateaus are new product launches. Again, that product launch may not be as ballistic as what you had before. Matter of fact, it probably won't. But as long as you have new spikes of growth, that's how you continue to come out of a plateau. But just understand, it'll only go so far, it'll plateau again. There's nothing wrong with plateaus. People draw wrong conclusions and think that I'm in the wrong opportunity or the product's not as hot as it was. No, just look at plateaus. I mean, if you're in a constant growth bull run, it's hard to keep people in a bull run because too many people just don't get the time, the attention, or the training that they need. And as a result, they just quit. So what's great about plateaus, that gives you a chance then to assess who's in your team, who's in your downline, who's really in this thing for the long haul, and then create those relationships with those people. That's the great thing about plateaus. And as a matter of fact, that's when I taprooted the most, was when anytime we were in a plateau, I thought, okay, good. This is a time for rest. It's a time for rest. There's a time for growth. There's a time for rest. And then it's a time to, again, connect with people in your team, get to know them, and find out what their goals are and run with them and get them to, fill out their prospect lists correctly, explain how to do the business correctly, train them better. And then finally, then you're going to start having organic growth. It may not be the ballistic growth. So what? It doesn't matter. It's solid growth. That kind of growth will give you residual income for many, many, many years, like it has me. And that's the kind of growth you want, because that's real. That is real. It's not based on shiny objects and you're just having a bull run because there's some quick market appeal to your product. And then later on, once the appeal is not what it was, then, again, drawing the wrong conclusions, and then that's what I see so many doing. Again, helping people to understand the value of your products, and then working with your leaders, helping them to achieve, their goals. That's your job. And that's the great thing about plateaus, that I do love about plateaus, is that it gives you a chance to create that stability in your team and help those team leaders be successful. You know, when I think about the whole thing about the myth of ground floor opportunities, or that timing, your success is dependent on timing, is when you think about it, think of companies like, for example, let's go for one of the oldest, Amway. It's been out there for more than half a century. And if you went around to most Generation Y, Z, X, if you asked and did a survey, have you ever heard of Amway? Chances are most have never heard of Amway. It's really true. I've experienced this in my conversations with young people. And I'm like, okay, well, if they haven't heard of it, isn't that the whole point of a ground floor opportunity? Is it's something nobody's heard of. You know, so this is going to be hot. This is going to be big. Well, no one's heard of Amway. Most people have never, because you got generations and generations of people that they don't know anything about it. It's amazing. And it's interesting to note that still today, if you look at the dominant companies out there, I'm talking about dominant in terms of volume, not just longevity, but volume. You would think that everybody knew about it. It's old news, right? And you would think that basically their volume is meager, but it's not. Amway's still number one. You have Amway, you have Nu Skin, you have Herbalife. These companies are still very, very, very strong. So the thing is, yeah, and the fact that very few people, Generation Y, X, Z, whatever, no one's heard of them, I guess they're a ground floor opportunity. Your company, nobody's probably heard of it. I mean, that's the thing about it. So then we cannot circumvent hard work. And I think that's part of it too, is some people just come in this and they want it easy. They didn't have an easy life. They haven't had an easy life. The job they have is not easy. Their personal lives are not easy. Many times a woman will dash off to work. She drops the kids off school or daycare, and then off to work, works hard, goes back, gets the kids, gets home, begins her second job, working in the house, making dinner, cleaning the house or the clothes, whatever. It's a lot of work. It's not an easy life. Even with men, when they come home, it's like, okay, maybe helping the children with their homework, and then weekends it's yard work, it's housework, it's just maintenance, and then Monday comes around and you start it all over again, right? That's not an easy life. But when they come over here, if we're not careful, then we can give them that impression, hey man, this is an easy life. Well, it does get easy later if you work it correctly, but in the beginning it's not. In the beginning we have to sell the sunshine and the rain. Dolly Parton said you cannot have the rainbow without the rain. You have to have a balance there, and then help them to understand the challenges that they're going to go through. Your life wasn't easy there, it won't be easy here. The difference is, over there, you'll never own it. Over there, it doesn't change. Here, it does. If you're consistent with the work ethic meaning that you show up when you're supposed to show up. You have dedicated time to work your business every week, whatever time that is, whatever days, whatever hours. But you show up, just like I showed up. When I started 28 years ago, that's what I did. And so when I got off my job, then I got home, I had dinner, I went right down the hallway, I closed the door. I spent at least 2 hours calling people, setting appointments, explaining things, sponsoring people, doing tradings, whatever. That was 28 years ago. But I was consistent. So work ethic is being consistent with our schedule, with our commitment on time, and everybody's different, okay? It's not, the important thing here is not the amount of time. The important thing here is what you do at that time, making sure it's productive. And then, again, being consistent in inviting people to look at your opportunity, being consistent in following up with those people that you shared a presentation or a video with, that you follow that up, being consistent with, after that, answering any questions that they have, helping them to understand things very quickly. And then fourth is sponsoring them as a customer or as a member of your team in your business. So it's about that. That's the skill set. And again, it's doing the same things over and over again. We call it monotony, but what creates momentum is monotony. If you're good at monotony, then you're going to have momentum. And so that's the thing. And so that's why timing is irrelevant. If you have a great product, compensation plan, good support, your company treats you well, there's no reason to quit. It all comes down then, if it is to be, it's up to me. If it is to be, it's up to me. And then it's a matter of having that skill set, mastering that skill set, and being consistent, not showing up when we feel like it. I showed up when I did not feel like it. I showed up when I didn't want to do it. I did it when I hated it. So that was how way back then, I rose from, there were 300,000 people in the company. I was in the top 10. Yeah, right. When I moved on to other companies that no longer exist, I came in with the same work ethic. Went to the top very quickly because I was a very focused person. So that's the thing that we have to really get clear, is that, you know, the concept or the myth that we need to be in something nobody's ever heard of because it's ground floor opportunity and then we can be successful. Most people have not heard of the giants that are out there now, like Amway. So what is holding you back? Yeah, we don't need to be looking for shiny objects. We don't need to be looking for ground floor opportunities that most likely will never get off the ground, as I experienced in my first 10 companies before my last one. I learned some lessons from that. And I was drawing some of the wrong conclusions too. I was thinking that maybe perhaps network marketing is not for me because it's just not a credible profession, because these companies don't seem to stay around. And yet they do. Again, we have to be very good at choosing them. Very good at choosing them. And there's 4 things that I look for in a company. Who are the people running the company? Have they ever ran a company before? If they have, what's their history? Good, bad? What is it? Second is the product. Does the product have value? Is it different? Is it a commodity? The problem with commodities, as I mentioned earlier, is you get in these price wars and you have to explain it. Your leaders have to explain, and that's a headache. Do you have some exclusivity about your product? Is it a niche product? So many network marketing companies do have very unique products. So that's the reason why I'm saying that. And then third is the compensation plan. If I was to go to your company's website, would they have an income disclosure that would tell you per rank position what leaders are averaging? So that would be something I would look for. If they don't have an income disclosure, I would wonder why, because that doesn't look good. That doesn't look good. So you need to know, for those people that have been in that company for whatever period of time that took them to get to that rank position, what are the average earnings of that rank position? And then the fourth being the support that you're going to get. Those are the 4, what I call 4 tires. Just like a car needs 4 tires, if you want your opportunity to really fly like a Ferrari, you need to have those 4 things in place. If you don't have those 4 things in place, it's not going to work. Because that was my experience with my first 10 companies, that I had perfect timing, ground floor opportunity, and went to the top in some of those companies, and they no longer exist. Those downlines no longer exist. That income no longer exists in those ground floor opportunities. That's the thing. So those four, that's the four wheels of success you really got to have in place if that company's going to be around. And so sometimes I'll get phone calls from people. Matter of fact, I remember one person called me up and said, "Hey, I'm looking at something. I really want your opinion." I said, "Okay. Well, I look for four things." I said, "Who owns the company? Let's start there. Give me the address of your company." I really hate it when I see a suite number, okay? That's your company. A suite. I've seen worse. I've seen worse. I had one lady that reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you please take a look at this, blah, blah, blah." I said, "What's the address of your company?" Well, first of all, I said the name, okay, address. I looked it up on Google. I showed her a picture of her company. It was a trailer on a dirt road in Mississippi. I said, "That's your company." She was so shocked. Another person, when I asked her, the address, it was a suite number. I'm going to tell you, that's not sweet, man. That is not sweet. Those kind of people can take that money and go to Costa Rica and be gone. Okay? So when I look at a company, I want to know if it's a health and wellness company. Okay, do you have your own labs? Do you have your own PhD research scientists that are developing new products? Who are the brains behind your health? Your health and science. What about your corporate team? If you took them all together, how long have they been in network marketing? What's their experience level? If it's not over, 50 years, you're in trouble. I'm talking about the collective years of all your corporate leaders. I mean, what's their backgrounds? Do they really know anything about this profession? So I look at these things, and then also, are there any lawsuits? Has the owner been in a company before? If so, I can think of one guy. Yeah. His company was shut down. Well, if people did history before they got on board with him, he had a previous company to that too. So, no. Matter of fact, the company I mentioned 28 years ago that I was in, when that guy sold our company, guess what he did later on? Started another company. And I told some of the leaders in that company, he's going to sell you out. He'll sell you out. You just watch. It's only a matter of time. He's going to wait until you're really at a point where he said, yeah, I need to sell it while it looks good. And sure enough, that's what he did. That company no longer exists. Another company bought it, and then it just got absorbed into that company, and then all those leaders scattered. They're all gone. Yeah. So again, who owns it? What's their history? And that's it. And I'm not a forgiving person when it comes to that. Not when it comes to business. Because if they've been sued or they've been in companies that they've sold, got out, took the money, left, whatever, I'm like, no, I'm not going to risk that. New people coming in and they don't have our interests in mind. No. So those are all things that you have to consider. And so when people hear ground floor opportunity, they never think of those four things. Who are the people that own it? What's their history? The product. Is it unique? Is it different, proprietary, exclusive? Compensation plan? Are people doing well, or is it just a few doing well? Fourth, the support. Is it all in place? But they don't think about that. They just jump because it's new. And then later find out, it's not what I thought. Yeah. Right. So work on the skill set. And that's the other thing I'll leave you with is that if you've, and we've all done this, we've all been in network marketing, different amounts of time. For some of you, it might be a few years. For for some of you, it might be many. Look back at where you need to get better at. Get that right. Get better at. Again, people will think, I'm not having success, so I need to find something with better timing. Is it that, or do you need to get good at the skill set? How good are you at prospecting? How good are you at following up? How good are you at developing leaders? How are your people skills? Do you like people? I had a guy call me one time. He said that. He said, I'm interested in network marketing, but I don't like people. I said, well, then you don't get involved. You don't need to join with me. You don't like people, you don't need to be here, because it's the people business. That's what we are. So if we're a people business, then we need to know people and have that people skill set in place, like our communication, our listening, how well we get along with people. Things like that are very, very important. Patience, tolerance, very important. I've had people say that to me, Jeff, you're so tolerant, you're so patient with people. I'll listen, I'll listen, That's right. But that is something that I developed over a period of years, and I had to work on that. Who was that guy? Anyway, so that's what I would encourage you to do, is look at where you need to get better and get better at it, because timing won't fix that. And I know you can do it. So it's been fun spending time with you. Frank, good to see you in the Philippines. Sorry you're in a lockdown again. I feel bad for some of you. Oh, he says he's in Davao. So then maybe you're not in Manila. Maybe you're not locked down there. And also, if you haven't got my book, Reaching the Peak, it's in English and Spanish. You can get it on Amazon. So anyway, thank all of you for getting on. Ciro, good to see you. So many of you tonight enjoyed it. You can share this if you got value and you want your team to see it, then share it anyway. But I'll put out some more value tomorrow. Thanks for jumping on tonight. Anyway, love all you guys. See you later.